Hello and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to show you how to set up a CRM completely free of charge with no monthly subscriptions. In the video I'm going to show you the importance of why you should have a CRM or some kind of database at the very least if you don't have one, how you can set up one completely free of charge again with no subscriptions, and then at the end of the video I'll show you how if you did want to pay a small monthly amount you could maximize this at just minimal cost. Let's just jump straight into the video. So starting off, what I'm going to show you is, again, the reason why you should have a CRM in the first place if you don't already have one. So today we're going to be building on Airtable. If you're unfamiliar with Airtable, it is essentially a data store where you can build different databases and tables where you can store information. You can also build some pretty cool apps on there as well. So why should you build it on here? Well, starting off, what is the CRM? So essentially, if I move my face out of the way so you can actually see, move myself down here a wee bit. So why should you have a CRM? So a CRM is a customer relationship management system. So essentially what it does is any information that you get in from like new leads or anyone that inquires about your business, you just track their information appropriately, right? Now, why is it important? So first of all, for data storage, so you actually get a note of all the people that inquire about it. Sometimes this can even be like a legal requirement, if you're getting, like if you're doing advertisement or that, you're actually storing the data correctly in a legal manner. Secondly, tracking your pipeline so that you know that anyone that comes in, even if you're getting like one lead in a day, even if it's just through word of mouth, it's difficult to remember where is each person at different stages. So even just having, something reminding you to say, okay, this person, you've given them a quote, they've not got back to you, right? You're never going to remember all this. So being able to track where each person is at is obviously very beneficial. And then again, automating follow-ups. Again, if you get one lead in a day, even only during the week, by the end of the week, you'll have 28 different people, 28 different stages. And again, trying to follow up with each one individually, trying to remember it all, and then trying to then again send some people specific texts or emails. It's just going to eat up too much of your time. It ultimately is going to be very beneficial for you to do so, but it's just gonna cost you a lot of admin time in the long run for it. Without a CRM, why you're losing a lot of money. So a lot of leads will just slip through the cracks. As I said, you'll forget to follow up with people that could have potentially been interested, but you've just never really got back to them. So they've then went to someone else. Wasting time on spreadsheets. Again, you could be spending hours searching through emails, notes, especially if you've not got anything centralized. Like if you have some customers on notes on your phone, some in your email, WhatsApp. Like if you just got your customers spread over multiple different sources, it's going to be difficult for you to track all your customers. So having centralized is obviously going to be beneficial. Again, just moving my face out of the way for this. So no visibility in your pipeline. You can't tell how many active leads you have or what stage they're at. Again, you just don't know, or it's going to be extremely difficult for you to remember where each person's at. Because again, if you're like a service-based business and you get an inquiry in or like a referral through from someone, you could have one person that you've spoken to, you've been out to their house and you've given them a quote. You could have another person you've maybe just spoken to on the phone. You could have done the work and you're waiting for an invoice. There's again, when we actually build the tables out, as I'll show you later in the video, like we'll build 3 different bases and each one of those has got multiple different statuses. So for you to try and remember, what specific stage each customer is at, I mean, one way that you can save or even make loads of money with this is purely just by maintaining your invoices so that you know who's been sent an invoice for what amount and if they've paid it or not. Even just having that. And then again, not having your customers leaves, revenue left on the table. If you don't have access to all your customer information, you can never go back to them and upsell them. Because again, you might think of something that, you could present to them, if you've maybe built them one thing, then if you don't have that customer's information, you can't go, it's going to be very difficult for you to go back in time to get the information and then send them another text or another email saying, by the way, I know I did this for you. I think the next stage would be to do this for you. So again, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Why it changes everything. You're never going to lose a lead. It's automatically tracked and automatically logged. You close deals faster because, again, you'll be able to just quickly go, okay, oh, I need to follow up with Sarah. Where's she at? Oh, I just need to send her an invoice. Cool, I'll do that right now. Instead of having to, again, go back in all your notes and think about it. Automate repetitive tasks. Again, just make sure things are nice and smooth. You're not doing too much admin if we can avoid it. Let's just automate as much as we possibly can. Data-driven decisions. Know your conversion rates. So again, there might potentially be an issue in your kind of sales journey, from new customer to actually getting them as a repeat customer to potentially sending on referrals. But if you don't know the kind of flow from a new lead coming in to, again, job completed and left a good review, if you don't know where you're losing most of your customers, then you don't know what problem to fix. It could potentially be that you've got a sales issue or a marketing issue or a follow-up issue, but you're never going to figure out where's the real bottleneck in your business unless you actually have the data to then figure that out. And then again, you're just going to naturally increase your revenue. More follow-ups. If you're the kind of person that actually follows up with a customer 2 or 3 times to say, by the way, pay this invoice, or are you still do you want me to come out for the quote tomorrow? Are you still okay for that? Like, if you're the person that can do that, you're the one that's going to win the business, because you're going to seem a lot more professional as well. And then again, you can scale up your business. So again, instead of having to deal with 10, even just dealing with 10 customers, if you don't have all the data centralized, can be a nightmare. So if you really want to scale your business and grow, you do need something like this. Okay, and why have I chosen Airtable as the place to do it? As I said, it's not going to cost you anything to set this up. You can get an Airtable account completely free of charge. There's no coding required, so it's not massively technical. And again, in the video, I'm going to show you how to build all the base and then all the tables within that. Airtable's got some built-in automation, so you can do things automatically. Like, it's not the case that every single process needs for you to do everything manually. We can just set up some things that if you change a status on one thing, it will take it from one table and put it into the next, so you're not just manually copying stuff over if you don't have to. It's got multiple different views, so some people like information presented differently. So again, or sometimes people just want to view things in multiple different ways. So you can view it however you want, however you think suits you. It is integrated with a lot of different places. Again, at the end of the video, I'm going to show you how I think that you can integrate it more to really get the most out of it, or just a small extra cost. And then again, scales you grow. So of course you can get if you do get to the point where I think you can get 1,000, free tier includes up to 1,000 records. So it's well more than enough to get you started if this is just you setting up your first CRM. But of course, if you want to go past that and you do get past that, then of course it's the importance of you can then just upgrade to whatever scale you want. Okay, what we're going to be setting up. So we're going to be setting up a 3-table base in Airtable today. Okay, so the first one is going to be new leads. This is going to be, again, whenever you get a new lead in, again, if you're just putting these in manually, or if you are running Facebook ads or whatever, however your leads are coming in, this is where they're first going to go. So it'll be new inquiry, like when they're fresh, no one spoke to them yet. Contacted, you've spoken up with them, follow-up needed, and no response. Okay. Once you've spoken with them and you've actually spoken to them and you're actively working on closing, you can then change them to a qualified lead. So it's not just a bum lead. Then it can be proposal sent, invoice sent, negotiating awaiting payment. Once you're awaiting payment, it will then put it into closed deals, where the work is in progress, work complete. You've requested a review, because again, the whole point of this is that we can figure out different ways that we can grow the business. So by actually consistently following up and getting reviews, it's going to help on the kind of back end as well. And then again, repeat client, because then again, it just is going to store the information so that anything in the future, if you do come up with an upsell, you can go back to the customer again. You've done a good job. They've left you a good review, maybe even sent you through some referrals. You can go back to that client and then upsell them further. Okay, some of the automations we'll set up as well are kind of just automating the move between tables. So again, if a specific status is set for each table, or for each record, sorry, it's just going to automatically move it to the next table, so that you don't have to, again, manually type out one lead from one table into the next. Follow-up reminders. So again, just reminding yourself in email or Slack if when a lead hasn't been contacted in 3 days, just to get back in touch. Some welcome emails. So as soon as a new lead comes in, you get their, you send them over an email to say, by the way, thanks for being in touch. Thanks for inquiring. We're going to be in touch. This is probably more suited for when you're actually running Facebook ads or Google ads. If you're getting like referrals, it might not be as necessary, but still good to know how to do. And then again, you get notified when invoices are or when status is updated. So again, if you're not doing this manually, you could again set up something that if invoices are paid, you get notified straight away. So again, it's going to save you a lot of time as well. The lead journey through your CRM. So the lead comes in, they're logged in as new leads. You contact them, qualify them, send them the invoice is sent, and then they're converted as a new customer. It's just to make sure that all the data flows nice and smoothly through each part of the process, so you're not having to worry about losing them at any point or trying to remember much of this. It's just you just have to focus on that person at that time, where they're at in the process, and then getting them from left to right, essentially. Okay, so getting started with it, we're going to jump right into it and say, and kind of the 5 steps of it. So we need a free Airtable account. As I said, we're going to be creating a base. So within Airtable, again, you create a base and then you can create multiple tables within a base, the different fields for each, and then setting up the automations between each, and then we can start sending leads. Gone too far for that, but let's just jump straight into it. So when you get into Airtable, you can just go in and then just create a free account. As I said, you don't necessarily need to get anything from that. If it's going to ask you if you for your first base, it's going to ask you if you want to build with Ome, or it's probably going to suggest building with templates. We're just going to create something and we're just going to build it from a blank today. Okay, so this is what it's initially going to look like. Again, it's going to suggest this on the left is Ome. This is Airtable's AI. It can help you with building bases and tables, but today we're just going to understand how we can all build it by ourselves. Okay, so this is going to be our CRM. Okay, we'll give it a nice, we won't change the color to that, I guess then. Okay, okay, and with each one of these, we want to make sure that we've got the right notes for each one. So again, if you're somewhat used to using like Google Sheets or even like Excel, you'd probably be quite used to something like this. So again, this is pretty simple to set up. So in terms of what are we going to have each lead as? So some of the important things is name. We probably want to add in email. So we can click add this. Yep, field name, email, create field. Cool. And then we can even just drag this along to here if we want. What else would we need? Phone. So we get the phone number. I'll just call this mobile. Okay. If you were doing, like Facebook ads or Google ads or whoever, you probably want to have something that would maybe say like the source. How did that person come into your or learn about you, or how did you learn about them? So you could have something in with the source. We'll leave that for just now. One of the important ones is status. Okay, so when we're editing, what we're going to do is we're going to change the status to a few different things. Okay, so we'll have new inquiry. So this is going to be when someone first comes in. Someone first comes in, you've got them as a new inquiry, you've not spoken to them or dealt with them at all yet. We'll have contacted. This will be when you've maybe gotten on the phone with them and you've just kind of had a quick chat but not really managed to get anywhere with them yet. We'll have another option of follow-up needed, and we'll go for no response. Cool. We'll change the color as well. Okay, default, new inquiry. Okay, assignee. Some of these other fields I'm just going to get rid of because I don't think we need them. Yeah, don't care. And just get all these deleted. Notes we'll keep because it's probably quite an important thing to have. But I mean, realistically, you could have something as simple as this for all the new leads that come in. What we'll do as well is we'll rename this table to new leads. Okay. Right. Now, again, this is set up just in grid view. There is a few different ways that you can have this set up. Okay. So quite a popular one, which I really like, is Kanban. Right. Status. Cool. I think this is a really easy way. So once we've actually got some records in here, you'll see how you can have this set up. So instead of having it just in like grid view and then manually looking at the status, we can have it in a view here where each lead is in here. We'll next move on to, okay, some of the other ways you can do it. You can have a calendar view as well. So like again, if people are, let's try that again. So you will need a date field required. So you can even have it. I'll just have it created at. Cool. So created that. So that is essentially just going to say when the lead was put into the table. Okay. So you've just got a note of that. So again, this would show like when the leads first came in. You could change this to something else where perhaps again when we make one of the later tables, maybe as customer and it's like ongoing work, you could have it so that it's set for when you're actually going out to do the work. So again, you've just got this view as well. So I mean, yeah, there's quite a lot of different views with it as well, but I think these are kind of probably going to be the most popular views. Again, this just if you want to show the information nice and straightforward. The Kanban view is going to show you, it can give you very visual representation of where each lead's at. And then the calendar view, again, I think more maybe relevant to later on. Okay. Next, we're going to be building another table. Okay. So new table. No. Or what we can even do, duplicate table. Duplicate records. Table one copy. Gonna rename table. Well, why is that not done that? Rename table, so this will be new leads. I don't know why that didn't save. New leads. Rename table. We're going to change this to qualified. Okay. Excellent. Right. Now in this, we're just going to change the status of them. So we'll keep the name, email, phone same. Again, we'll still want the notes as well. But we're going to change the status options in here because again, they're no longer a new inquiry. We've now qualified them. So we're going to have it set to proposal sent. Invoice sent. And we'll just go payment made. Okay, we'll get rid of this. We'll just keep it as that. And again, we'll put the default to proposal sent. Okay. Yep. Okay. And again, this is, oh, I think I've just done that in the wrong one, haven't I? I've just done that in the wrong one. Edit fields. Yeah, I've just done that in the wrong one. New inquiry. Contacted. Follow map needed. We're really spitballing this, so apologies for making you wait. And we'll go for, what did we say? Follow-up needed, no response. Because of course you can try as many times as you want, but some people are just not gonna want to deal with you. Okay, so we'll edit fields. So we'll say proposal sent. So maybe this is you've said that you've kind of spoken with them and you've kind of gotten an idea of what they're looking for, and you've sent over them a proposal of your work and what it would be. Invoice sent would be, yep, I'm happy for you to go ahead with the work. Here's my invoice before I get started on the work, and payment made. Okay, we'll need to get rid of that. Confirm change. You can just make sure it's not made any changes with that. No, so they're still all good. Qualified. Okay. And then again, hopefully this gives you an idea of how you can actually do this. So again, you're pretty much just making sure that you understand where each person's coming from at each different stage. And then again, I think the last one that we'll probably do is if we just duplicate this again, duplicate, yep. Again, we just rename this to customers. Okay, again, the only thing we're going to need to change is the stats of these customers. So now that they're on as a customer, so it will be work in progress. So again, they paid their invoice, so you need to do that. It could be work complete and referral requested. Okay. I think that's probably a good one to do. Yeah. Yeah. Because again, I think that kind of follows a good stage of where we could do, of what we could do for it. Okay. So again, this is pretty much that's pretty much how you set up the tables. It's pretty straightforward. You're essentially just deciding what information do I need from each customer, and then just making sure it's laid out in nice, a kind of straightforward way. Now, what I'll do is I'll add it on port. How do I? Okay. I'm going to use good old Claude here. We're going to get him to make some data for us. Hi Claude, please make a CSV file with some customer data for us to upload into an Airtable that we've made. The columns are name, mobile number, email, and some notes. Okay, create that for us, please. So essentially what we'll do is we will get Claude to basically just make us some dummy data that we can just upload here, okay? Just so you can get an idea of how it might look in the kind of different stages and the kind of different views for you. But again, I think this is going to be the most important thing, just so you can see it, because then what we're going to do is we're going to then set up the actual automations. So again, this is what's going to really be saving you a lot of time on it, because you don't want to be, if you've already got a customer's data, you don't want to be then taking them from one table to the next by just manually typing it out. If there's a way that we can just have it automatically done, then listen, let's just do that instead of you having to actually manually get all that done. Okay, so Claude's done that for us. So we'll just download that. So we just downloaded that. And we'll add into a CSV file. Downloads customer data. Let's see if that works. loading in your data. Again, with this, you're probably going to be putting in new leads. It's done some different statuses. Okay, we'll import it anyway. We'll just delete these 3 as well. Yeah, okay, perfect. And I don't know why it's done, yeah. Delete lead, okay. So it's just changed inquiry. It's just made some extra notes or statuses for us that we'll just not be dealing with, but I'll just change these manually over, so you can just see where they what they might look like. Again, when you're putting these ones in yourself, you're going to be manually changing them to again, you'll be manually putting them in, so you won't really have to worry about this. And we'll do another follow-up needed. Okay, perfect. Kanban. So again, this is kind of how the information might show you. Now, when you click into a lead, you can have this and expand, and it will say, Sarah Mitchell, there's your potential lead source, and it will have all the information in there. So whatever and then again, you can put in notes in here as well, so that again, if you wanted to have a bit more of a personalized view on this, and if you want to leave yourself like little notes saying, spoke to her on the phone, she will speak to husband and get back to me. What? And get back to me. Okay. So again, you can just keep little notes on there, kind of ongoing, so you can keep yourself reminded. Instead of you having to remember, right, what was the last conversation I had with her? You can just go on here and you can automatically see, okay, I spoke to her, she needs to do that. So now she's no longer a new inquiry. So we would go on here. What I'm going to do actually to make this a little bit visible for you is get rid of all this. Okay, just keep it as the ones that we said. Yes, confirm change. What that's essentially doing is just saying, by the way, you're also got this information on Kanban. If you get rid of this, it's going to change that. That's all it's basically saying, but that's fine. So again, if that was the case with Sarah Mitchell, you'd spoken to her and you wanted to change that, you would then just click on this here and change her from new inquiry to she's been contacted but follow-up needed. Okay, because again, you've spoken to her, she wants to speak to her husband or partner, whoever. Okay, then you know you to do that. Now this is where I think it looks really cool, is the Kanban view, because again, as this just makes things so easy for you as a business owner. It makes it really easy for you to come in and basically say, okay, where is each person at? What is the kind of next steps I need to do for these person? Or you could essentially have it that, say at the end of the day, you say, right, half an hour I'm going to give myself to do all the follow-up that I need to do, you know, whether it's chasing quotes or kind of confirming appointments, however, you can say, right, I've spoken to all the new inquiries, right? The goal should be that this is empty by the end of the day. And what you can even do is you can take Emma, so you phone Emma, and and say you don't manage to get a hold of her, but you've at least tried. Change her into contacted. And what it will also do, it'll update into here. So if we search for, where's it, Emma? She's now contacted. So again, when you change the status on any of these, it will automatically update it on whatever form. How cool is that? So again, maybe as if you were setting this up, or if I was looking at it, I'd be like, right, okay, new inquiries, I want them as 0, right? Because I don't want anyone I've not even attempted to speak to them, right? Then what I would do is perhaps I'd be like, right, so I've got I've contacted everyone, right? Now I've tried to phone Emma, and then say for myself, I'm saying, right, I'm going to give them 3 attempts to follow up, right? If I don't get them, then what I'll do is I'll put them to no response. Vice versa, if you do get hold of them and it's follow-up needed, because again, you've kind of spoken with them and it's just a case of confirming what you want to do with them, or perhaps you're going to be sending up a proposal. Okay, so what we, in fact, because I'm just thinking we'll need to do that as well. So qualified, so we had a proposal sent. So what would actually be beneficial is proposals. No. So keep that as status, but then have this as proposal sent. Okay, you'll see why this is we'll see why this is important later on. So you can literally come in here every day, make sure that you're contacting all your new inquiries, and then anyone that you do, you're going to change them over to proposal sent. Now, the next thing that we're going to set up is some of the automations in this. Okay, so again, we've just went up here from data, automations. Again, this is where the magic happens. So we're going to basically just cut out a lot of the kind of manual processes and just automate a lot of them. So how we're going to do this. So what we're going, the goal of what we're going to set up is set up an automation that's going to, when we change the status of an inquiry from whatever one of these to proposal sent, it's going to take the information from the new leads table to put it into the qualified one. Okay, so how we're going to do that, we go over here to automations, click add trigger. When record matches conditions. Now these are the different triggers that you can have. So again, there is paid versions as well. You can have a look at these, but how we'll do this one and how I think most of them are done is when record matches specific condition. It's going to ask you which table. So we're going to click new leads, add conditions. Now the conditions for when it's going to trigger this. So we'll say when status is proposal sent. Okay, we're going to add advanced condition or logic. So in this instance, what we're going to do is create records. Okay, and to add a description of it, new leads to qualified. Oh. Okay, action will run always, and we're then going to select qualified. Okay, so we're selecting what table it's going to then put the information in. We're going to check the field's name. Okay, now how are we going to then get the name from new leads to qualified? So what we're going to do, see if you click this, we click name. Now what that's going to automatically do is it's going to map the name, so say it was like Sarah Mitchell, and then it's going to automatically put it in here. So we just want to add the rest of these in as well. So again, you don't even have to manually type anything, you literally just click mobile, dynamic variable. So again, instead of just having a specific value like adding in a number in here, we want it as dynamic. So click the plus and then add the mobile. Choose field notes. Yeah, we want the notes in. And yeah, we'll put the created date again. We'll just change this as a dynamic variable. We'll just keep this the same. In fact, we'll change this. We'll change this to the time that it's qualified so that you can know when you've maybe sent that initial proposal over to them. Okay. Okay, and that's it. So again, what we'll do is we'll click this on, right? So if we go back here, so test automation, select our live, that does not match in the conditions. Okay, so what we should do, let's take Thomas, right? So we've spoken to Thomas and he's happy, he's okay, he's quite interested, he wants a proposal sent over. Let's go. Now what should happen, it's automatically just captured the data over to this one now. So we've got Thomas Baker in our records. How cool is that? Again, we've not cost ourselves any extra time, we're not duplicating any data. We're just simply transferring it over. Now what we even could do is if you wanted to make it even better so that you're not ending up with duplicate records, is let's go update records. Let's say is this going to be best? Yeah. So select table, new leads, record ID. Yeah. Because I don't think there's a way that we can have it delete the record. Update. No. Yeah, we'll just keep it as it is just now. But again, this is going to be nice and easy for you to get all the information over there. So again, this is kind of then just however you would want to then, whatever automations you want to do to set it up to go from one to the other. Like there's so much you can do here, and for every new automation you want to create, you then just go in here, select the trigger. So like when a form is submitted, you know, this could be select table into new leads in the form, find a form. Again, you can create a form in Airtable that you can have. So even if someone contacts you manually, you can then essentially just take the form and then put in the information yourself, so that it'll automatically go into your table instead of, you know, you having to do it. Or you can even just have it so that you send it out to them and then they can just manually put their own data in as well. So again, loads you can do in here to do it. And again, just having all this, it means that, you know, at the end of the day, you can be like, right, okay, what do I need to chase up on? So say you've got multiple, you know, if you're coming in here, right, I need to go through my tables individually, contact all my new inquiries, right? So I've done that. Follow-up needed. Okay, I'm going to call these ones, right? And see where they're at with it. I'm going to try give these ones their kind of second and third attempts. If I don't get them, put them into the no responses. Okay. Follow-up needed. Okay, David's now happy to go ahead. Proposal sent. Perfect. And then it populates. I think it's so cool when you see that getting done. And then again, you just know where each person's at, and then essentially you just create the exact same thing for this. So spoken to Thomas, he says, yep, I'm happy to go ahead. You said, okay, well, I need you to cover the cost for the materials up front. So I've sent an invoice. Once he sends that invoice, or once he pays that invoice, cool. Again, there's ways that you can automate this. I'll show you in a minute. And then again, you can have it so that once he's made that payment, he's then coming over to this one, which we said we were going to rename as customers. Commerce. Yeah, and then again, status, your statuses are, you're just work in progress. Again, you can even set for the created at, you could have it as when the work is due. Work complete, and what I would recommend there is setting up a little automation to say create automation. So when record matches condition, so we would go customers, when status is work complete, I would then want to send an email. Okay. So select, you obviously just connect your Gmail account. Who are we going to send it to? So we're going to go email. And we're going to, yeah, so we're going to send it to, and subject review request. Hi, I was really happy working with you. Can you please do me a massive favor and send me a 5-star review via this link? Square brackets, insert link here. From Dylan. Perfect. Okay. So you can then literally send this email out to everyone, so that as soon as you go on at the end of the day and you mark that work as complete, you're then sending them the request to get a 5-star review. Because again, one of the most important things of having this, again, is to like maximize each customer's value to us. So again, that's why we're following up with them so many times. We're also like saving the data for future upsells. So again, you can always get back in touch, or again, you can then maybe even set up future ones for request referrals. But then again, just this one, getting reviews off of people. So every single job that you do, you're at least requesting to get a review from them. Not every single person is going to do it, but by at least asking the question, again, if you're then kind of trying to build your SEO and just kind of grow your business in general, by actually getting more reviews out there, it's going to get your name out there, build your reputation. If you've got a bigger reputation than all your competitors, you can probably charge better prices, or so you're going to be a wee bit more profitable for each job, because again, you're the guy that's got 100 5-star reviews when all your competitors have got 2 or 3 that everyone knows has probably just been done by family or friends. So again, hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea why it's so important to have a CRM like this set up. And then again, just a kind of basic step-by-step on how you can set it up with the automations. I did promise you that I would show you a way of how you can really step this up if you were wanting to pay like a small monthly amount. Now, how you would do that is by doing this via a platform like this, which is a more local platform like NAN, Make.com, or Zapier, right? This one that I'm showing you, if you're unfamiliar, is NAN, my personal preference. But essentially what you can do is it gives you the ability to make further integrations than what you can with Airtable. Airtable is great because of course you can build lots of stuff and integrate it in different ways, but NAN gives you the ability to connect basically anything you want. Okay, so perhaps you're running Facebook ads, and then instead of sending it directly to Airtable, you have it to come into this webhook here. This is then going to create a record in your Airtable anyway. You just configure that, but then you maybe send them a text, send them an email, and you can then also maybe send yourself a text as well. Vice versa, there's also the opportunity to do different things in here. Like you could set up like a voice agent to contact the person, to basically call them and say, by the way, we just got your inquiry in. We're going to be in touch with you shortly about how we can help you out. So by having, it just provides you with so much more connections and integrations you can do. And I would probably argue that for the small monthly amount that you would pay, you're going to get much more bang for your buck than you would having again, a CRM that's ultimately going to cost you like 50, like minimum £50 per month per user. So if you're only 5 people, 250 quid a month. Whereas with NAN, I think you're like less than 20 quid a month, probably like 15. And again, you've got an Airtable for free that's going to store all your data. And then you've got this that's going to connect anything and everything you possibly want for it. So listen, hopefully that gives you an idea of why, if you don't have one, you should have a CRM, and how you can quickly set one up, and kind of some of the further things you can do to improve it even further. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comment section. And if you've enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. All the best.